Okay. Mark, go on.
All right, so we welcome all stakeholders to our Sprint 3 demo presentation tonight. As ADMs, our presentation will be highlighting our journey, spotlighting both our achievements and challenges we've been actively turning into opportunities. My name is Femi Marks, Digbite, and I'll be representing the ADM. Let's dive into the financials first. We've strategically allocated our budget to address essential areas, maintaining a key eye on our financial health. Despite the tight budget, agile practices have allowed us to prioritize effectively, ensuring that essential features are developed without compromising quality. Our risk management plan has been a cornerstone of our resilience. We've encountered and mitigated critical risks such as technical debt. Also, we mitigated scope creep. And these proactive measures have not only kept us within budget, it has also helped us to stay on schedule. Um, Next is a roadmap. It has been our guide through the project twists and turns as we progress. It's clear that while our destination remains unchanged, our journey requires us to adapt. We re-strategize, we forge ahead with the insight gained from each sprint. And also, quality remains non-negotiable for our QA plan has led us through challenges, including bugs found during testing. Our robust approach to quality control means that these bugs are being systematically addressed, ensuring that we maintain our commitment to a seamless user experience. The bond and chart for Sprint 3 shows that we've had more on our plate than anticipated. With backlogs piling up, but this challenge has been met head on. We've adjusted our sprint planning to ensure that these backlogs are methodically cleared in the coming sprint. Our sprint velocity also been affected by the unforeseen backlogs, but it also reflects our team's relentless drive. We maintain an average velocity that informs our realistic planning, ensuring that we continue to develop value while addressing the backlog. We faced down our testing environment issues with Resolve, and I'm pleased to report that they've been resolved. Setting us up for a smoother sprint ahead. Each challenge has been a stepping stone, and our adaptability has been our strength. Finally, our journey has been marked by dedicated problem solving and strategic agility. The documents and metrics we've shared today are not just plans and charts, they are our playbook for turning challenges into wins. And we move towards and as we move towards sprint 4, our focus on proactive risk management planning, relentless quality assurance, transparent communication remains steadfast. And those are the things we're going to be focusing on. Thank you so much. I'll hand over to the rest of your team for detailed analysis. Over to you, Shegun.
Yeah, thank you for that, Max. Yeah, my name is Olu Mukashegun, and I'm here to present on behalf of the Scrum Masters. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is the attendance of the active member and not active member for this sprint 3. Next slide, please. Yeah, the sprint growth for this sprint is authorization and functionality. Next slide, please. Yeah, we'll be talking of the work we will be able to do on this sprint 3. So number one there is our Scrum ceremony, which are the daily stand-up. Please go back, please. Daily stand-up, sprints planning, our sprint reviews, sprint and retrospective. So on our sprint planning, we come together as a team and we commit 10 stories together we commit 10 stories into the sprint, which we worked on. Please go back, please. Go back, please. Go back. Yeah, we come together to develop ourselves and we create a CV. The last demo we had, they asked us with the Scrum Master to create a CV going for the rest team, which we did, and we create a career stream link also. And we also reach out to the non-active member to know what's really happened to them so that our work won't be delayed. So next slide, please. Yeah, this is the key achievement that we have so far. So we were able to commit 10 stories into the sprint and 7 stories reached the definition of done. Next slide, please. These are the impediments we attend to. So lateness of team members into our meetings, an issue with network, which most especially the Nigerian members, where they have an issue with their network, so it enabled them to join the meeting. And the last one there is the tester account. So we escalate about testing account for the QA. Some of them were not able to get access. And the last one is our metrics. So this is our metrics chart, which display process and progress of our teamwork in the sprint. Thank you. Please, over to you, Bukumi.
Thank you, Segun. I'm Oluwabukumi Olarewaju, and I'm representing the business analyst. Thank you. So I'll be talking on the goals and objectives, requirements gathering, implementation of the sprints, the knowledge acquired, and the sprints impediments. Next slide, please. We've been able to work on the core functionality of application for the mentor and mentees page on the mentorskill.com website. The goal here is to deal with the ability for the mentors and mentee to post, view, edit, delete or not, and the entire workflow. The workflow for the mentees page include identity, interest, booking, a time to be mentored, and so on. Next slide. Requirements gathering process. We've also been able to meet with the product owner. We've gotten the requirements as peculiar to this sprint. We have also developed the user stories, acceptance criteria for each PBIs. We also engaged in refinements with the product owner and also with the rest of the team members to refine, approve, and commit stories. So this is how our board looks like, the epic feature and mentor page. Next slide, please. This is the epic feature and PBIs for the mentees page. Next slide, please. Implementation of sprint stories. We have been able to commit 10 stories to sprints, and we're also making preparation to put others into sprints. So this is one of our PBIs, personal details. That's our story, and this is the wireframe. We can also see that it is currently in development. Next slide, please. This is how our Azure board looks like. We have some PBIs on that BA, and we have some on that BA done. Knowledge acquired. We had a training on the Gherkin syntax, and we're made to understand that the Gherkin syntax originated as a behavior-driven methodology, which is used in the writing of user stories. Its key features include structured formats, keywords. They are also human readable, and it enhances collaboration. Next slide, please. So this shows how the Gherkin syntax is being put into use. If you look down at the acceptance criteria, given explains the scenario when talks about the activities that are being carried out, and then shows the expected results. Next slide, please. Some of the impediments we encountered during this sprint includes managerial issues. There are times that some of members are unavailable, so this gives room for little room for brainstorming of ideas and also sharing duties. Timing too is also an impediment to us. Thank you. Over to you, Samuel.
Oh, thank you, Bukumi. I'm Samuel Olumide Ajay. I'll be presenting for QA. I'll be talking on test cases and test execution using the tester account. On test stories were worked on. during this sprint. We run the test case and execution done for 12 stories. 7 of the tests passed and UAT done successfully. Bugs were detected on the 4 stories and setting up on of IntelliJ. Next slide. Yes, when we run the tester account, to test this story, so it shows this one all the stories passed. Next slide. The next slide shows a story that had a bug. The next slide. Yes, the setting up of the IntelliJ. Now creation of the project. Now the installation of the plugins like Jenkins and Maven. Creation of files and folder for the project. Importation of form file content. Importation of the test runner. Writing the Jenkins test for test environment. Writing the step depth for each Jenkins steps. Getting locator from the web page to be tested and running automation tests. Next slide. After our IntelliJ has been set up, this is how the environment looks like after the variables has been set up. Next slide. Yes, so running our to determine how we run Eloquator. So once our project has been run and the Chrome is pop up. So when we want to run Eloquator, so the screen is divided into 2 after and then we right click to inspect whichever field we want to inspect the locator. We right click and the screen is divided, and the POM file is highlighted, and we can right click to know whether we are using the expert. If we are using the expert, so it is being copied. So the impediments, there are sometimes there are delays by the developers in working on the stories where bugs were identified. Some of us have low system certification, which cause some kind of delay during our setup. And also the general issue that we all know about is the network in Nigeria. So the next person that will be presenting is Albert.
Thank you very much. Lightning, please, next slide. Okay, so for the purpose of this sprint, I'll be speaking on a few things. And now this is a established dashboard, just to put everything in one place instead of having to go around. Please press next for the arrows to come out. Thank you. So the previous sprint, I talked about the average sales and profit and other stuff. But for this sprint, I'll be talking on the sum of sales, which is, for example, want to know sales for a particular period using dates. So we can see on this dashboard, it has a date of 2016 to 2017. So we just want to see the sales trend. Press next for the other arrows to come up, please. So we just want to see the sales trend for the business. And then going forward, please continue pressing next for the other arrows to come out. Yeah, we want to see the top products amongst all our products. We want to know how much they've made in the sales period, and then want to know the top customers. We want to know how much they've made in sales and all of that. It could be marketers and the likes. Now, this donut dashboard shows us the percentage of sales in different regions, and the middle shows us the total sales and profits. And here, under here, the profit sales by profit meter using the scattered scattered graph to just show the sales trend also. Yeah, and then creating relationships in Power BI. Yeah, with Power BI, I want to create relationships so that our tables can sync. Then we can visualize. Yeah, we have the visualization pane, we have the table pane, and we have the modeling pane where we do a lot of things on our Power BI. Yeah, we want to create relationships, so we create relationship in between the resellers table and the sales table. Naturally, Power BI recognizes the data in each of these tables, so it picks the relationship in between. Yeah, we can see that there are some sort of lines in this. It is showing the relationship in between the data. Next line, please. Yeah, next slide, please. Next slide. So while we are creating and showing these relationships, this manage relationship pane shows us the numbers of relationship we've had and the whole relationship in the data. so to say. And here we can see that we have all the relationships created. Next slide, please. Yeah, in this next slide, we want to visualize. Here we have our visualization pane, our data pane, and the quick measure pane. Here we have just the category and sales, and we want to create a quick measure. That is a calculation to show profit and to show up the profit margin. So we impute a calculation in our quick measure to give us sum of profit, to give us the profit margin and all. Then we can see that the next visualization shows the profit margin and the profit itself. Now going forward, I just decided to play around with Tableau to just show more visualization. Yeah, now in SQL, we want to talk about left join and string handling. So basically, left join is just a type of join that is used to combine two rows from different tables just to bring them into each other. Hold on, Lightning, please. Okay, well, so in this SQL, we created a left join from the dim employee and the employee sales territory to bring them all together, to bring the sales employee territory into the dim employee, and then the string handling as well. The date handling is simply to play around dates, to know the numbers of days, the numbers of years an employee has used in a particular company. Thank you very much, as I hand over to Alex from the cybersecurity.
Good evening, everyone. As a SOC analyst, I'm tasked with ensuring the security of a network infrastructure. Today, we are delving into the realm of forensics analysis using Wireshark, a powerful tool for dissecting network traffic and uncovering potential security threats. As we navigate the complexity of network monitoring, Wireshark emerges as a cornerstone tool. It's capable of enabling us to vigorously observe and analyze network traffic, providing invaluable insight into system activities and potential vulnerabilities. Next slide, please. HTTP is the backbone of web communication. It presents a treasure trove of information for analysis. Wireshark allows us to capture and scrutinize HTTP traffic, examining requests, responses, and other information to identify anomalies or security issues. Next slide, please. With the proliferation of encrypted communication, analyzing HTTPS traffic becomes imperative for comprehensive security monitoring. Wireshark decryption capabilities enable us to inspect encrypted traffic, uncovering potential threats lurking within secure channels. Next slide, please. Wireshark values amplifies when integrated with other security tools by synergizing with platforms like VirusTotal, USCAN, DNS analysis tools. We augment our forensics capabilities, enriching our analysis and strengthening our security posture. As our analysis unfolds, the importance of clear reporting and effective escalation cannot be overstated. Wireshark facilitates the generation of detailed reports, empowering us to confirm findings precisely and expedite escalation process to senior SOC analysis as stakeholders. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Legends. Not sure if you can hear me clearly. Thank you, guys.
This team. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ian Ngoma. I'm presenting on behalf of Optmine's team. This evening, the sequence will go as follows. Scrum Master will be presented by Christiana. The BA will be presented by Bell. The QA will be presented by Damilola, and Esther will present the cybersecurity. Let's go to the first slide, please, for PM. First slide, please, for PM. Christiana. Thank you. Let me just give a project update. Our team of OpsMind, the mandate is to create a website where mentors and mentee can interact. We started this project on 11th of January. We'll be finishing on the 14th of April. Our budget is $500,000. So far, we've spent 380,000. We're still on execution. What worked well was the attendance, communication, and ticket resolution.
could do better, time boxing, team punctuality, and less response on some of activities. The risk, the project could be overrun. We could extend, we may not finish by the time we're supposed to finish on the 14th. This is due to sick absence and other personal issues that affect team performance. The support that we will need from the board will be to request for exceptional report. Now, this is just for practical purpose. We know that none of the projects, few projects may finish on time, but we've included this one just to demonstrate that when we are in actual project, we may not finish on time. So we've included that. The next one, please. These are some of the key performance we did, we achieved in Sprint 3. The stand-up meetings was absolutely fantastic. Percentage was about 75. Team collaboration was about team collaboration was about 80%. Approval items, developer attendance, you can see that was not as good as we're supposed to be. Comes under stakeholders, and assignment on board was 100%. So all assignment that was given to the team has been on board, and item that have been moved to done was about 75. Go next, please. This is what we plan to do in the next sprint. We want to focus really on the payment methods, on our developing that. And also we want to include cybersecurity and planning so that when we're concluding this project, all issues are really tied up. Individual assignments that will be coming up this week, this Saturday. So every person is being urged to complete the assignment, and mentor and mentee profile will be done in this sprint we are going. Thank you very much. Christiana.
Hi, good evening. This is Christiana from Optimind SM. And tonight I'll be representing my members. So the goals for this sprint is to complete and develop and also test the tickets from the previous tasks. And the major goals for this sprint is to create, edit, and build mentees profile, and also build time slots for mentors, which is for functionality purpose. Next slide, please. And so here you can see our task board, which is showing that here we can see what is in there, QA, and what we have to validate to complete the goals for this sprint. Next slide, please. So now we're talking about our PBI. We can see from this one down for this sprint, we populate a lot of backlogs. So presently we're able to complete 21% of our tasks, which is showing. Next one, please. And here you can see our velocity and how much work we were able to do and what is the numbers of work we have left. Next one, please. Now you can see our burn up, which is the number of time we consume on working on the remaining articles, percentage of backlogs remaining on our backlog. Next slide, please. So here we have our retrospective previous on the previous week, and this is what we really need to work on. I'm sorry this is not showing on that because we are able to vote and say this in the next sprint, this is what we need to focus more on. Next slide, please. Over to you, Bill.
Good evening, my name is Bill, and I'll be speaking on behalf of the Optimize BA. Next slide, please. Hello. Next, please. So here we have a brief overview of the agenda, which includes adult participation, the Gherkin syntax, process map, elicitation of requirements, workshop, artifacts, impediments. Next slide, please. As BAs, we participated in the daily standards where we shared our achievements and impediments for sprint planning. Next, please. Share our achievements. Okay, so for sprint planning, during our sprint planning, we determined the PBIs to work on for sprint 3. And then in our sprint refinements, we look back at our PBIs. Please, you're going too fast. The previous slide. During sprint refinements, we look back at our PBIs to decide what to prioritize in our next sprint. And then also for our sprint review, we saw updates of what our developers have done so far with our stories. Next slide, please. So we learned about the Gherkin syntax. Next slide, please. And And in the Gherkin centers, we realized that it basically provides a readable and understandable way to define and automate software behavior using keywords like given, when, then, and but to describe the behavior of a system. But we also met with our PO to elicit requirements, after which we wrote stories and populated in our backlog. Okay, next please. So this is a high-level process map of a mentee's journey on the MentorSkit website, which I would love to walk you through, but for the sake of time, we'll just have to view it. Next slide, please. So during our workshop, we reviewed some of the things we've learned so far with our mentors and buddies. We shared our challenges, and then we were motivated as well. Next slide, please. Next. This is an overview of our board, and as you can see, most of our tasks are done, and this is a user story, and this is a wireframe for Start as a Mentee. Next slide, please. So these are product backlog items that we populated. Next slide, please. So we had some impediments, and during the sprint, some of our team members couldn't access their VCO, and also there was an increased workload due to unavailability of team members. Thank you.
Thank you, Belle. My name is Damilola Josh Oyewole. We'll be the one presenting for quality assurance for this project on Blue Sky. The project is a MentorSkit website design. Agenda, we'll talk about our Sprint 3 activity in summary, which is our sprint goal, test plans, strategy and approach, our achievement, test results and findings, impediment and improvement for the next sprint. We attend our meeting, daily stand-up, part of what we do, sprint planning, review and refinement. We had our training and automation testing. We review our requirements with the BA. We write our test planning, test cases designed for the project and for each job assigned on our job DevOps. We did some regression testing and collaboration all together. As our goal for this sprint, as you can see on the board, from sprint 2, there's some carryover stuff that we have to bring into the new sprint, which is part of our backlog, sign up, login page, footer design, and also the newly committed job in sprint 3, which is home, start a mentee, contact us, get started, and find a mentor and join as a mentor. As usual, we follow through the test plan and test strategy that has been written during the project to follow up with what we need to do. Quality assurance approach that we took is that in this spring, our approach to testing are still manual testing. We write our test cases in BDD format, Gherkin format to say Cucumber, which has helped us in preparing for the automation testing. We also were able to use our test account registration to run our tests, write our test cases in a proper way in agile environment. We're able to perform functional and regression testing in all the development of the project. Again, we have the ability to collaborate with developer and business analysts to ensure alignment with the design specified by the requirement of the project owner rather. Our achievement, you can see from the board now, our assured about the movement in our PBI and the sample of how our test execution look like. For example, this test runner shows that the project has passed. Also, our achievement continue by giving us the test account. We're able to properly write our test cases. We're able to continue writing our test cases using the BDD format. And towards the end of our training, not towards, I can't say the automation training is at the end of it, but in the last class, Deji told us to try and implement what we've learned in automation into what we're doing on our project. So we're able to implement. You can see on the screen the artifact of what we've done. We're able to implement contact us, inquiry page. We're able to find a mentor, login. We're able to put that into automation, and it run perfectly well. So you can see here our progress report of what we've done so far. Among about all the projects that we've run, few bugs have been raised and which developer has been able to fix. Our impediment, some team members are yet to attend the meeting due to their location, the internet issue. Some are yet to receive their test account because of the kind of job they do at the moment. Plan for the next sprint, working to finish up the remaining tasks on the sprint so that we'll be able to commit new ones. Then also we'll be able to properly apply the automation framework that we've learned in Java, IntelliJ, and so on, to be able to put that additional, to put them on the project that we've been doing. Thank you very much. Over to you, cybersecurity.
Hello, everyone. My name is Esther DME. I'm presenting for cybersecurity tonight. Next slide, please. Wireshark. Wireshark is a network protocol analyzer and is used to analyze network in real time. So for all connections on the network, Wireshark will help us to see all the IP addresses, all the websites that has been visited on the network. So next slide, please. And why is Wireshark really important? It helps us in incidents. If there is anything that happened, maybe, for example, if there's a malware infecting the network, with Wireshark, we can see what happened, when it happened, what machine on the security analyst or a network information administrator to know exactly where to go to and remove the host or the infected machine on the network. Next slide, please. For this part size, this incident happened, the level of the incident was high, and source IP address, destination IP address, and it will help the network security person to know where to go to and remove the infected hosts on the network. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is the interface of the Wireshark, and as we can see, the HTTP protocol was being filtered here. HTTP protocol is the unsecured protocol on the internet. It uses port 80. So if there's any thing that the network analysts need to do first is how to filter out HTTP protocol. So that is where we can get all this information, and it will help us as security analysts to know exactly where to look at when analyzing our traffic. Next slide, please. Another tool that is very important to use as network analyst and security analyst is VirusTotal. VirusTotal is open source website that is being used all over the world, where people report all these malicious actors. They put in the IP addresses there. So it's easy for security analysts to go there and check if there was a previous report of such IP addresses. And as we can see here, this one has been reported before. So even help us to confirm that this particular IP address is malicious. Next slide, please. So this is a further analysis that is being done. We have to dig further before just concluding that it is malicious. We have to check so many parameters, and as we can see here, all the communication between the source IP and the destination IP address. Next slide, please. Give recommendation, and for this particular recommendation, we suggested that the IP address should be blocked. The one that was communicating with the source IP address should be blocked immediately, and the infected machine on the network should be removed. It should be contained so that the infection will not spread across all the network. Thank you very much. That's it all for me tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Optimind.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Go for this sprint is next slide, please. Next slide.
I think you need to hold on.
Do I need to go back, sir? Okay. Thank you. For our achievement, team members showed more commitment because they had to report on daily basis about the projects. Team members were also assigned specific role, making sure the projects can be delivered on time and within budgets. We also build trust and transparency by keeping team members motivated and engaged during the sprint goals and planning. Next slide. Okay, I'll leave you with this quote that says, daily action is how momentum is built. Add vision, goals, and learning to your doing, and you will be unstoppable. Thank you. Over to you, Felix.
Okay, thank you, Angela. This is Felix Chofo presenting for Scrum Master in the Elite team. During this sprint, in order to achieve our goal, we had to work on a number of activities to support the whole team to ensure that they achieve their goals. Specifically, we had daily stand-ups in which obviously we decided to extend it from 15 minutes, even though we know that practically we do it for 15 minutes. We had to extend it to 30 minutes, considering the number of participants that we've got, and to make that every participant has the time to maybe voice their concerns. So as a result, we had to extend it from 15 to 30 minutes. So it starts as took part in was a sprint planning, which took place on the feed of during this sprint plan completed during the sprint. Next slide, please. Another event that took place, we participated in was and facilitated was the refinement to prepare for the next sprint, where we determined our capacity. We did the post storage pointing, and we actually identified and arranged the product backlogs items in terms of priority in preparation for the next thing. Also, we equally continuously monitored and the Azure DevOps bot in order to gain information on how each department of the team was doing, and where there were any issues, we tried to point them to the appropriate quarter. Next slide, please. So this is our product backlog screenshot, which shows the various items that we agreed to work on during the sprint. And of course, the task board as well, which again indicates the various product backlog items. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are our various matrices. Here we've got, we have a cumulative a flow design, and we have a velocity chart here for the sprint. Next slide, please. Also, we equally had self-development sessions. A typical one to remember was the one that took place on the 7th of March. This was with us, the Scrum Masters. We had to do clarification on issues on Azure DevOps board, especially the burn down, the matrices in general, because we had to invite a mentor to actually take us through, because even though we did them, we could not actually interpret them. So it went on successfully, and we were actually pleased with the result that we received, and it has actually improved our understanding of matrices, including capacity, velocity, and the burn down chart. Next slide, please. And of course, this impediment removal was equally an issue, was equally high on our agenda this month. If you look at this product backlog items, you can see number 4, which says find a mentor. That was a bug. Somewhere along the line, we identified that as a bug. And of course, we immediately, with the Scrum Masters, we immediately informed the QAs and the developers, and they worked upon that. This is when it was captured while it was still there, but then we were able to do this. This is just to emphasize the fact that we were constantly monitoring the board, and actually any bug or anything that we feel that we are not clear with, we had to find a solution to that. Next slide, please. Yeah, so of course that is another impediment removal was the issue of our daily stand-up was somehow disorganized earlier in the sprint, because I mean, the team did not really agree or did not really come, due to the fact that due to lapses in communication, we had these issues of whom not actually getting who to facilitate the daily stand-up. There were still some confusions. However, on the 11th of March, we had a meeting, the ADM, the Scrum Masters, and some BAs, we had a meeting, and we actually reorganized it and actually allocated days during the week for each Scrum Master to facilitate, so that everybody had pre-information on which day of the week they are facilitating. And we equally made up a standby team that will help us finish, to help us in case we are not there. So that is what we did during
10 minutes gone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We finish with that. Next, business analyst, please. Business analyst.
Moji. QAs, do you want to go?
Yes, we are ready.
Please start.
Okay, this is Thompson. I will be presenting on behalf of the Elite QA team. So in this sprint, we're able to have 6 PBI estimated on the board and 5 were committed. So we had 6 tickets. And with the QA, we met and we shared the tickets and missed ourselves. And these tickets were outstanding for the sprint. Test case has been written on them, but we're waiting for the developers to work on the TV tickets. So, and also we're able to complete our setting up of automation framework, and we're able to run tests. So, and we also had some impediments. Some of our members had network issues, and which affected our progress. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so and our activities for this sprint we had our sprint planning, we had our daily stand-up, and we were also able to set up our automation workshop. Then also to do in that setting up of automated workshop, we're able to use locators and also create our step definition. Next slide, please. Okay. So during the sprint, we were able to, as I said earlier, 6 product backlog were estimated and 5 were being committed. Though a bug was raised, but that bug was from sprint 2 tickets. So, and when we discovered that bug, our developers worked on it swiftly. And also in this sprint, we were able to set up our test automation workshop, the IntelliJ software. Then we also had network issue because currently, I think in West Africa generally, there was a network issue and which our members from Nigeria, it was being affected. Next slide, please. So, okay, the impediment we face, like I said earlier, this network issue really had a major impediment because most of our QA team members, they are from Nigeria. So it had issue with our work and even testing of our softwares and running testings. So, and we had issue with setting up our automation framework. Some of our members, they had issue with their system because some of their system are 34 bits. So it was not compatible with the software that we're using to test run our software. So, and then we had outstanding tickets that the developer is still working on. So they are not still being moved because our developer is still working on it. And then, so in our next sprint plan, we are planning to improve communication amidst members and also meeting with our bodies and method for proper guidance. Because there are still some things we are still yet to get used to it. So we are planning to meet with our bodies and methods to guide us through. And then, as a team member, I want to support each other because some of our members, due to the network issue, they were not able to catch up with classes. So within ourselves, we are planning to reach out to our team members so that we're able to catch up with classes and be updated. Then setting up automated testing. Then lastly, we want to finish the current sprint outstanding PBI, which the developer are working on. So in our next sprint plan, we plan to achieve all these. Next slide, please. So in the following slides, we have the images of our work being done. Like this one, and this is our setup, our configurations of Javin and Maven, which are the softwares and the applications we use to run software testing. Next slide. And also this is an image of how to run the configuration because we need to go to the command prompt and insert some command key so that you're able to run the software. Next slide, please. So also this is the continuation of the setup of the softwares. Next slide. Okay, and then now this is our IntelliJ software. So this is software we use to test on all those our own testing softwares. Like for example, now in this particular interface, now this is the required page structure, whereby we use Gherkin syntax to write our test cases. As you can see now, you can see it comprises of the scenario and we follow the BDD format. Next slide. So moving further to this, the IntelliJ software. So after we have written our test cases, we move on to input our required test. This is the step whereby you're able to test run your software and the IntelliJ software will automatically run it up according to the command you put to it. Next slide. Okay, this is the continuation of the process of testing the softwares. So as you can see, this also in the second screenshot, you can see this is the web page of the page we're setting up and testing. So knowing that this is what we give to you if you start the follow command, and then you'll be able to do this Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, I think this is one of our work too. This is our mentor skills website, and you can see the test cases we hit on our Azure board. So these are the images of our work done in this sprint. Next slide, please. Okay, that was all. So that was all for our QA. So I think okay, Sultana, up to you.
Sorry, what was your name? What's your name?
Thompson.
Thompson, all right, thank you.
Okay. I think the DA should be on, yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mojisola Ajayi. I'm representing the BA of this team. Next slide, please. Okay. For this sprint, we met with the PO to gather our requirements, because for this sprint, we are to create and edit and build the profile, the page for the mentor and the mentee. We gathered our requirements and wrote our stories in Gherkin syntax formats and included our wireframe. This is a screenshot showing the process map, the beginning to the end. I wouldn't want to take much of our time. Next slide, please. Here is a screenshot of the mentor's profile page. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is a wireframe. This is another one of the mentee. How
2 minutes to go.
Mentee can enroll for a course. And this is the screenshot. Next slide, please. Okay, so on our board, we've got 4 items currently for the sprint, but 7 has been approved. That's for sprint 3. The 4 on the current one is for sprint 4, but the 7 approved one is out of sprint 3. We've got 1 in dev committed, and the rest. Next slide, please. Okay, so the impediment we faced for this sprint is our Visio that we had issues with. I think for 1 or 2 persons, we found a way around it. Some use Lucidchat, the free version. And yeah, that's how we're able to get that process map for the mentor-mentee profile. Thank you.
DS, please.
Oh, yes, thank you. Oh, next slide, please. So for SQL, so SQL is a programming language which retrieves data, and in terms of this, we've just been extracting time-based data from the overall data available, and this is important as it can be used to determine the time period of when customers would buy products the most and predominantly. Next slide, please. And for Tableau, we mainly worked on dashboards, putting all the available data to tell a story about the sales of products and sales of products by category. Next slide, please. So during the Power BI lessons, we mainly used it to interpret data so we could determine the sales and profit margin by month. Next slide, please. So we were asked to create a user story for the sprint goal. And then mainly we were asked to come up with visualizations which involved extracting data from mentors and mentees using the acceptance criteria, which was how we could achieve that goal.
Hi, guys. Time up. Please, the team should wrap up in 3 minutes. Thank you.
Oh, yes,
Keep
of course,
going.
yes. Next slide, please. So on here, there's a distribution of mentors and mentees in terms of age range and location using a bar chart. The highest of the mentees is from England, and they're female, and the age range is 31 to 40. Next slide, please. So we were mainly depicting the data we extracted from the DSU Sprint 3 to determine the number of people present in terms of attendance. Next slide, please. So we mainly had troubles figuring out what to do in creating a user story, which would align mainly with the sprint goal. Next slide, please. And then what we have achieved is we're able to analyze the demographic of the mentors and the mentees, and then transform them into a database visualization to determine who and where they are based. Furthermore, we were also able to determine the attendance rate of the team members for the DSU. Cybersecurity, it's your turn now.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Obara Jebele, representing cybersecurity for the elite team. Next slide, please. We started the sprint with the continuation from sprint 2, which is Wireshark. Wireshark happens. It's a network protocol analyzer or an application that captures packets from a network connection, such as from your computer to your home office or the internet. Next slide, please. Wireshark Workshop. What does it do? The list of what we're seeing is called a packet list, a packet link list. What does it do? It captures each packet. For every packet captures, look at the first line. Beneath it is details of that first packet captured. Next slide, please. On the lower left of your screen for the HTTP analysis, we have the lower left corner of your screen, we have the HTTP network protocols. It relates to information in those lower left packet details pane. And by the right, lower right, it displays the packet bytes, which is also called the payloads. Next slide, please. What does this analysis do? If you look at Wireshark, it looks out for malicious attack, malware, look out for unconventional IP addresses, or as well as site names. Now, when you use the IP addresses to identify malwares, you can either use the NS lookup, which is one of the analysis here. It helps you to identify whether an IP address is malicious or not. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Now, this is a proper incident response activity. Next slide, please. It talks about an activity with a host name from Frantech Solutions. It was injected with a malware using, it was injected with a malware, and we used the VirusTotal to analyze this IP address to be able to identify such malwares that actually attacked it. Beneath it, we have the indicators of compromise. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Now, this is one of the packets that is being streamed using the HTTP. When you look at this, we have our host name, we have our IP addresses, we have the ports, both the source IPs and destination IPs. All these are used to analyze this packet to see where we have malicious attacks on them. Next slide, please. A VirusTotal security tool is also an analytical tool to help us identify the type, what actually we have on the IP address that we found in the HTTP traffic that was shown earlier. Now, when you look at this analysis, it flags 3 different security vendors, flags these IP addresses as malicious. Having flagged it as malicious, we went further to check on the communication, which who is this very IP address has it contacted? Who is it communicating with? Who is it relating with? Next slide, please. By the time we checked, we also found out that there are several other protocols, several others packets that he has been communicating with. And when we flagged it, we looked it up on VirusTotal as well. Next slide, please. We also detected 18 out of 62 were flagged malicious, and then thereby making us understand that this very IP address is actually a malicious malware. Next slide, please. From the analysis gathered, a malware was detected, infected files, and our recommendation came out to be that infected files should be isolated. It uses a non-encrypted port 80, which is an insecure transfer protocol, an installation of a real-time analysis tool such as Wireshark for incident responses and alerts, as well as a defensive tool for intrusion detection such as SNOT will actually be needed to help reduce every form of malicious attack on our ongoing website, which is the MentorSkill website, because we don't want to have unauthorized access, suspicious traffic patterns, and data exploitation. We look up to Wireshark for real-time analysis on the website. Thank you very much. That's all for cybersecurity.
Okay, thank you so much, Elliot. Eagles, are you ready? Thank you. Well done, guys. But guys, you used 28 minutes. All other people have been using 17, less than 20. 28 minutes is too much. Please, next time you need to, coordinate yourselves. But thank you. Well done for your delivery. Eagles, can we wrap up for the night? Thank you.
Wait, are you there?
Benga.
Venga.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Team Eagles Sprint Report, which started on 6th March 2024 and ended on 18th 2024. I will be handing over to the PM lead, Nina.
Thank you, Lumide. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nena, the PM ADM for the Eagles team. Looking at the slide, for Sprint 3, our goal was to actually, for our project goal was actually to create a dynamic platform where mentors and mentees can interact. And we're supposed to deliver this online platform within 3 months. We started in January and we're hoping to wrap up by April. If we look at the screen in front of us, our total budget that we had mapped out is about 1.3. This is the accumulation of the human capital and material, which was shown in Sprint 1. The breakdown was shown in Sprint 1. Currently, we've committed about £447,250, though we had forecasted £653,000. So we have a savings currently of about over £200. We still have a tolerance level of about 2,500 as our contingency plan. Now, for last sprint, the goal was actually to activate the functionality and authorization of our landing page. And these were the tasks we enumerated to achieve that. I can confirm today that all of these tasks have been completed. So we have our registration page, login page, all of that in place. Now for Sprint 3, these are the, for Sprint 3, the goal was actually to create a profile and a profile for mentors and mentees that was editable and also to have time slots for them. Now, these were the tasks we mapped out for this creation. As we speak, the side navigation panel for mentors and mentees have been completed. The profile has been created as well for the mentors and mentees and is editable. The capture has been created, picture upload as well, and the sign out buttons all created and completed. Now, for password resets and mentees feedback is still in progress, and we are sure we'll be able to complete it by tomorrow. For Sprint 4, if you look at the bottom left corner, for Sprint 4, we're to create a payment gateway using the debit card, credit card, and PayPal. I can confirm that we've done this. We've even extended it to accommodate bank transfer and Klarna payment. So we are on course on this project. Also for Sprint 4, we're looking at CV creation on Azure DevOps and blog creation. What we've done as a team is to make sure everyone is being carried along. So we know
we'll be delivering this at the end of Sprint 4 as well, because we've been checking on everyone during our DSU to ensure that we are all on board and on time. Now, for our risk issue and assumptions, the major issue we had was the lagging with test cases. One, because we have only one QA who is in Nigeria. With the Nigerian issues mentioned by other people, we also have that as a challenge. So what we've done to mitigate that is also to increase workload for some team members to ensure that we meet up with our deadline. The SM is the owner of this particular one. So this is the project status for us as at today. I'll hand over to my colleagues for details of all the activities of Sprint 3. Thank you.
Good evening. This is Oguntume Olumide. I'll be reporting for the Scrum Masters. This is our sprint goal for the current sprint, which is to design dashboard for the mentee and the mentors. Next one, please. So these are the activities that we carried out during this sprint, which is to organize sprint planning, refinement, the daily stand-up, and also organize a brown bag session for our members. Next one, please. So these are project board, which shows our work items, and we committed 10 items during this sprint, and we are able to complete 8 so far. And we believe we're going to complete the rest before the next sprint. So next one, please. And this is our metrics board. So our metrics board here is showing our burn down efforts, and the burn down effort is actually used to visualize the work that is remaining and that has been done. And though our metrics also is used to engage our stakeholders in showing what we have been doing so far, and also to optimize our workflow efficiently. Next one, please. So, and this is our retrospective board. We're doing the retrospective, we're able to discover what went well, what doesn't go well, what was learned, and the action plan. And the feedback we've gotten is actually being worked on currently. Next one, please. So during this task, during this sprint, we're given a swim lane task, which is to create a blog and a CV. And this is our current board, which shows the current work being done. And we as the SM, we are going to make sure the work is being delivered before the deadline date. Next one, please. These are the impediments we encountered so far during the sprint, which is our members in Nigeria are unable to work optimally due to the network issues we're facing. And also, we have slow deliverable of work because we have only one QA working with us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adebayo Babalola. I will be representing the BS for this sprint. These are role members. Next slide. Yeah, for this sprint, the sprint activity and task include the following, as you can see from this slide, showing the project mandate and the tools that we use. For SofaSugo, we use Balsamiq, Azure DevOps, Visa, Microsoft Word. And for the training, we have the business analyst workshop. We also have a training on how to use Kaki syntax in business analysis. Also, we also have a meeting. We have a meeting on sprint planning. Our daily stand-up went well. We also have a meeting with some of our stakeholders about this and mentors. And for the team members, all the team members were assigned on PBI or the other so that all the members can be active and go. And we also have a brown bag section. Next slide, please. Yeah, for this slide, you can see our goals and achievement for this sprint. You can see the progress flow, the arrow showing their progress flow from the sprint 1 to sprint 3. Actually, for this sprint, the sprint 3, our goals was to create a mentor-mentee dashboard. And also you can see also the committed PBI, the assist in number. And also for our next sprint, the sprint 4, goal is to design a payment gateway. We already have 2 already in done and 7 already approved, expecting others to be committed. Next slide, please. Yeah, some of our artifacts include the following. Next slide. You can see this is the MentorSkid users journey flowchart, which include the mentee and mentored. with the mentee booking for a session with the mentor and the payment gateway. Next slide, please. Yeah, you can see this slide is showing the site navigation panel for the mentee, the user story. Next slide. And yeah, this is the wireframe for the site navigation panel for mentor. Next slide. Yeah, this is the site navigation panel for the mentee, which is editable. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is the wireframe. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is the edit profile as a mentor, the user story. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is the wireframe. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is the edit profile as a mentee, the user story, and the accepted criteria. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. Next slide. Yeah, this is the caption. Next slide. Next slide, please. This is the wireframe. Yeah, our impediment include the following: the personal laptop issue and some poor network services, which Nigeria is not excluded. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Miriam Vincent, and I will be presenting for the DA tonight. Next slide, please. In Sprint 3, we were able to attend whole Scrum ceremonies and contributed towards the product goal. We attended whole course sessions for our role. We also attended brown bag session to learn and share with other team members. We met with our mentor and body, and they gave guidance on how to collect data and then to clean the data and to have a simple data to analyze. We created a work item on Azure DevOps for CV and career content creation as instructed. Can you continue, please? Yeah, so this is an Actifad to demonstrate the stacks we were able to add on Azure DevOps. Please go ahead. And on Tableau, we created parameters, we created calculated fields, dimensions, we formatted fields to enhance visualization. We created dashboard for data visualization and reports. And below is the dashboard that we're able to create for myself and my fellow colleague, Juliet. And the dashboard are showing various, the sales category, the sum of sales pie chart, sum of sales range, and the moving average of the database we analyzed. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, that's for Juliet. That's Juliet's dashboard. Yeah, please go ahead. And on Power BI, we created hierarchy. We created calculated feed as well. We analyzed table to give an insight to the data. And of course, we created many-to-many relationship on data view, and we created display folder on data pane to group field in a table. And below at the Actifads to demonstrate that, can you just go to the next slide? Thank you. So this is the table view showing the analyzed table there. And yeah, please go ahead. And of course, this is the hierarchy we created on the right hand side. You can see the hierarchy of products and category, subcategory there. And then this is to show the links between various tables as well, how they link to the sales table. Yeah, please go ahead. And of course, this is a relationship between the table as well. Yeah, go ahead. And for SQL, we were able to use string handling, date handling, get dates, date hard, date div, date part, date name, and concatenations. We're able to use cast and convert. Yeah, go ahead. And below are the Actifad at the back, this hub as well. You can see on the screen. Yeah, please go ahead. Thank you. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, and good evening, everyone. I go by the name Ogunyemi Ese, and for this sprint, I am the role lead. These are the highlights of the activities involved in this sprint. Next slide, please. During the course of the sprint, a new project was created on the IntelliJ IDE, and Cucumber and Gherkin plugins were downloaded. Showing on the screen is an artifact of an imported POM file content, which is the fundamental work unit in Maven. Also, to be able to get the POM dependencies, it can be gotten from the Maven repository, which is a free source and also contains different dependencies and plugins that would be needed for any framework that we want to work on. Next slide. So moving on to the next slide is the artifact showing a future file which describes the test scenario using the Gherkin syntax, which is the given, when, then in writing test steps. Next slide. Next is the Gherkin. The Gherkin steps and future files are converted to step definitions. The step definitions contains most of the code needed to run the Gherkin steps that are in the future file. We can majorly say that it needs written test cases steps to code them. Next slide. Next slide, test runner. Test runner, yeah. This shows a test runner artifact which runs and executes tests and exports results. It selects the source code directory and picks test files to run them and also verifies them for bugs and errors. Next slide. Out of 10 stories committed to the sprint by the BAs, 8 of them have been moved to DevDon and test cases that have been written on each and every one of them. Here is also an artifact of the test case written on the Azure DevOps board. On the left displays the test case for the verification of the Mentis side navigation panel, while on the right the test case written for the verification of the Mentis feedback. Next slide, please. Here is also a test case artifact written for different stories committed also to the sprint. And for our impediment during the sprint, during the last few days in the second week of the sprint, there was nationwide poor internet connectivity, which really caused a stall on the team's productivity pace. And also the non-availability of other QA members also is an impediment, as most of the QA assigned tasks is majorly on one person. And also loss of access to testers' accounts. Thank you. And I move to the cybersecurity.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Saidi Adekoju, the team lead for cybersecurity for the sprint. And during the course of the sprint through, we did more of follow-up from what we did for last sprint as regards Wireshark analysis. Wireshark, as we know, is a network packet analyzer. It displays captured packet and findings in dated form. And during this sprint, we were given a task to do to identify. We're given 2 packets to analyze to identify all DNS, HTTP traffic, the user agent, and analyze any domain used in the pickup, and also write a report as regards the simulation. Please, next slide. This is a screenshot from the analysis which was done. The first screenshot on my left has to do with the captured DNS analysis, while the next screenshot on my right has to do with the HTTP captured screenshot analysis as well. Please, the next slide. From this left screenshot has to do with the analysis carried out using the VirusTotal software, whereby we have to, from the analysis from the HTTP source IP, we're able to pick a particular IP and run the IP address on this VirusTotal, which was flagged by 2 vendors that the IP address was malicious. And on the right-hand side was also more like a thorough in-depth analysis using the HTTP as well, and the HTTP stream, to identify which user agent is using that particular IP. So it came out that the user agent is using a Mozilla 5.0, and it was used on the desktop F3P7XLU. And please, the next slide. This is the indicator of the compromise. This is the IP address 81.17.23.125. And the compromised website we're talking about is nflstream.io. That is the site that is being infiltrated on the server. So this is the screenshot from the in-depth analysis done on the VirusTotal software. Please, the next slide. So in all, this is the summary of all the analysis which was done during the course of the sprint that had to do with the screenshot I made on these slides. And sorry, the next slide. So the recommendation from all the analysis done was that the particular website and the IP that was involved should be blocked in order not to infiltrate the server in the network. So that is all we did during the course of the sprint. Thank you very much for your time.
Alrighty, thank you so much, everyone. Let me start the next recording, just a moment.